Hi Flosstube, my name's Mel and you've reached my channel Patchy Pony Stitcher. Welcome! I've had quite a few new subscribers join since I've announced my new game, the Fortnightly Floss Off. So if you're here because of the new game, welcome. I hope you'll also stick around for my update and whips and all the other bits and pieces that go along with a Flosstube. And if you're returning, welcome again. I hope you've had an opportunity to see my last video in regards to the new game. If you haven't, just check back on my last video, number 69, and it has all the very loose rules. There's no pressure with this game. It's a year long and every fortnight there's a new prompt. So if you're here just for that, what I might do is call the new letter for you, just in case you don't want to hang around right till the end and to find that out. So just to recap, this is a game where every fortnight, every 2 weeks, I will call a new letter of the alphabet, and you pick a project. It could be New Start, it could be a whip that has the letter in either the title of the design or in the designer's name. So for example, P was called last fortnight, which you can still catch up on. There's no deadline when you have to do the stitching by. So if you're only joining in for the first time, by all means you can catch up with P. You've got 12 months to do it, and it's a minimum of 300 stitches. So it couldn't be any easier. So let's spin the wheel for this fortnight floss off. Today is the 13th. This will be uploaded on the 14th. It's just I'm doing this in the evening because I've got to work tomorrow. So let's see what letter we are working with this fortnight. Y. Now Y was a little bit of a tricky one for some people. Now I have been busy. I had to pause you there to find my book. I have been busy today. I went through and put all my whips in a alphabetical order as to what I could use them for prompts. So I've got, so like some whips might fit 3 or 4 different letters. So for Y, I have the choice of Choose Your Own Motto by Heartstring Samplery. So I will show you that one now. Okay, so for Y, Choose Your Own Motto by Heartstring Samplery. This is the chart, and the quote in this one does say, all I'm saying is that you never see me cry and eating a taco at the same time. I won't be using that particular motto. There is quite a few already on Beth Twist's website where you can actually download different mottos that are already pre-graphed for this chart. But I had a look and there's not really any that tickle my fancy, so I'm still undecided what I'm going to put in this one. This is where I'm currently up to. This is a 25 count even weave, and I'm doing 1/1. The fabric on this one is the vintage country mocha that is actually printed on one side, and I'm using this is the floss palette that was put together by Christine from Stitch All the Things. If you do remember Christine, this was a pass along that I happened to win from her channel. I haven't seen her for a long time. I do miss Christine. So they're my flosses. There are a range of all sorts of bits and bobs that she put together, and I'm really happy with how that's coming along. So 300 more stitches on this one from the floss off. So I'll show you what I did for my P, and then we will get into the normal Flosstube for those people that are just here for the Fortnightly Floss Off update. So as I said, I had P for Beatrix Potter, the sampler by Stitchy Box. This is the pattern, or the mock-up. This is where I was when you saw it last fortnight, and this is where I'm up to now. Now, can I show? Oh, I'm going to have to pull it out, aren't I? Yes. Okay. So this is where, oh look, Mel, just stop being lazy and do the whole thing. Okay. This is where I'm up to now. So this is a Quaker sampler. and I am stitching this on 46 count Duxbury by Fox and Rabbit, and it is showing up much more mottled than it is in real life. And I'm using a hank of silk from Silks For You, and again it shows up, oh, that's probably a bit more true than was the colouring. I'll show you the hank of silk. Yeah, that's a bit more of the colour that it is. See how dark that shows up? Isn't that crazy? That shows up really dark there, but really it's quite a light coloured silk. So this one I have been working on one thread before I stitch anything else, and not necessarily every day because I don't get to stitch every day. But if I am stitching, then that one gets one thread, which is about 100 stitches. So that's had quite a bit of work put into it because I did put extra into that for the floss off. So that is the update for the floss off. So I'd love you to stay around and watch the rest of the video. And if you're not subscribed, please do. I will be announcing a letter every fortnight. And again, no fixed rules on when you need to get that stitching done other than 1 July 2027. So what else have I got for you? I have 2 fully finishes, an unboxing from Unique Stitch, and an update on Consider the Lilies, which I'm hammering for a finish for by the end of this month, because I've got a retreat here in Hobart hosted by a Stitch in Time, where Beth Twist is our guest designer. So I'm super stoked and really want to get that done. So let's begin with my first fully finish. This is called Humble Honey by Hands On Design, and I have turned this into a pillow. So it is stitched on 32 count even weave by Lakeside Linens. Oh no, beg your pardon, this is Bestitch Me. And it's just 2/2 DMC, that's the DMC conversion. And I have put the walnut shells in and some bit of rip-rack around the side. And because I knew I was going to do the rip-rack, I didn't do the hole in the back, which is my normal method. And I actually am quite pleased how this turned out. It's quite heavy and it's quite fully stuffed, mind you. It still could have had a little bit more in there, but walnut shells can be a little bit difficult. The next finish that I'm going to show you is in addition to now I have already shown you this. This is my Hands On Design Do Dragons Fly. And so I finished that just after the spring mingle. But if you have seen photos, there was a dragonfly that was part of the tutorial, but I didn't really care for it. So I decided I'd find my own dragonfly. Where is my little box? And what I chose was this guy. Now this is by Unique Stitch and they are in Ukraine. I ordered this off Etsy off a third party, which was fine. But once they came, I actually looked them up on the web and did a huge order for another five little charts, because these were really good. I was really, really happy with how this came along. So I'm going to put my unboxing of this in here first so you can see the process. So I'll insert that here for you now. I'm going to do me a little unboxing. 2 videos ago, I showed you my finish on Hands On Design Do Dragons Fly, which was part of the Spring Mingle class, where we constructed this pin cushion, the octagon pin cushion. And in the class, there was also these little felt dragonflies you could make. But I didn't particularly care for them and I wanted to try something different. So I went onto Etsy and I went onto Etsy and searched for dragonfly pins. Couldn't really find anything until I came across this one Now, this isn't directly from the seller, this is a third party. So I purchased this on Etsy, and I am blown away with how good of quality this kit is. So I'm going to give you a little unboxing. Now, the Etsy seller did send me a little goodies package, a bobbin of thread, a bobbin, a needle, and a needle threader, and this lovely card, which I'll turn into a thread card. But let's have a look in here. I'm going to zoom in a bit. So it comes beautifully packaged in this hard, sturdy box, so nothing gets damaged. And what we get in the box, actually I might go out just a little bit. So we get a card, which is like a postcard, but you could certainly use this for your Book of Days journal. We get the pattern, which I'm not going to unfold because it's just the pattern for the stitching and the beads. We get the beautiful threads, already sorted, unlike the Mill Hills, and they feel absolutely divine. So I'm just going to unwrap those because I'm going to have a start on this one today. So we've got two Krynics, or two metallics, and then the rest are cottons. Beautiful, and plenty of them. We have the ring on which, so this one is to be mounted, as you can see, on a ring and a bead, but I'm obviously not going to use the ring because I want to use it, I'm going to turn it into a pin. Now this is my favourite part, the canvas. It is already pre-cut. So it's pre-cut for you. It's acrylic, it's bendable, but it's not breakable. The holes are easy to see, and you get this felt piece that's already cut as well to mount on the back of it. Already done. How easy is that? So let's have a look at I haven't opened this, so this will be a really unboxing for me as well. So we've got a bobbin of that's for the beading, I would say. The hanger, two needles, a stitching needle and a beading needle, beads, more beads and gems, more beads, and some metallic thread for couching, sew in one piece. So I am so excited to start this. So I'm going to go switch you back to the normal video and you can see where I've got up to. But look, I'll just give you an idea of what I'm going to do. So I'm going to mount that, and then I'm going to stick a pin in it and have it floating above the pin cushion. I'm so happy. Okay, so I'm going to put over my face now the point where I got to with the stitching finished. Now, I was a little bit concerned when I began this. They are, I feel, a little bit trickier than a Mill Hill. Not cool, because you can see through the acrylic, and because there's bead spots, it's really hard to, like, it's a little bit off-putting because you think, oh, they're going to be able to see the traveling threads behind. What I do like about this though, because it's like a 16 count Aida, not a 14 count that the Mill Hills provide, so your needle doesn't fall out and fall in. Well, you know what I mean. If you've done Mill Hills, you know how your needle will, like if you're doing a poke and stab, because you've got to hold the paper, the needle will drop out sometimes of your stitching, and that can be really frustrating. So that doesn't happen quite as much because the holes in these are a little bit tighter, and it's 2/2 opposed to a Mill Hill, which is 2/1, because it's like Aida. And a Mill Hill, you use 3 threads. Well, it's instructed to use 3 threads, which I always have, and it gives a nice coverage. But the 2 crosses over which I'll put back in, over the 16 count is well and truly enough coverage. So that was a little bit tricky, just seeing, your traveling threads. But if you can look past that and know that they're not going to be shown through, then it's fine. And this is the piece with the beads on. Now so this one other tricky little bit, hopefully I can, if I move out of there, one other bit was the gold thread was couched on, and I found that a little bit difficult to get into a groove, but once I did one wing, the other three sort of flowed really easily. Hadn't done a lot of couching before. And then the beads come on, and you've got, if I can, there, I don't know if that's going to really show. I hope you can see that, but there's a bigger diamante and smaller diamantes, and then you've got the eyes, and then also this bigger bead. So they're quite, oh, that shows you how big they are. Now this is designed to go, probably should have got this out beforehand, sorry guys. This is designed to go and be hung, apologies, in this as an ornament. So it's got little holes, and then on the thing it shows you how to stitch it on to that, and then you have it like a ornament. But because I wanted this to be a stick pin, I'm not using that. So I used a big pin that I had that was sort of like a hat pin. And before I put the felt on, I stuck it, because it's got like a larger sort of flat base on it, I stuck it through the felt, and then you do have to glue the felt on. I was expecting, because with Mill Hills I buy adhesive felt, so I just naturally assumed that this would be pre-adhesive, and it wasn't. So you do have to glue the felt on. So now my little dragonfly is a stick pin, and he goes into my pin cushion, and I've got him on a bit of an angle because I didn't particularly want him like that. So I've got him on a bit of an angle, so when he's sitting there on the shelf, you can actually see the beads and the design of him without having to look over. I am super stoked on how this came out. However, after doing a lot more stuffing, I've realised I need to go back and put a bit more in this, because he's a little bit floppy. So, and I want to do that before, because I'm going to take this to the brag table at the retreat, because it's just so sweet. And I think more people need to know about these unique stitch boxes. I think they're absolutely fabulous. Okay, so they are future editing Mel coming back to squeeze a little extra part into this for you. I forgot to tell you, usually with Mill Hill kits, so I'm going back to the Unique Stitch Dragonfly, you would have enough supplies to do both. Certainly there's enough threads to do another one, and you can just order the acrylic form on its own from the website. So with one of them I have done that. I've ordered two. So I ordered a kit, and then I've ordered just an extra form of a horse I want to do for my granddaughter. And then these are the remaining beads. So the big beads they've given an extra one of, just okay in case you've dropped one, but you would not have enough beads to do the entire project again. But in saying that, most of us have a bead stash here, there and everywhere. So that is potentially something that you could redo, because you've got enough fibres to do it. So thought I'd just give that as an update while I was packing everything up. I was like, oh, I was going to mention that for you. Right. Now, while I get up and stand up to get this ready, I'm going to put my before photo in here so you can see where I was before Consider the Lilies. And this is where I'm up to now. So what I did since I showed you last fortnight is I completed pretty much everything above the banner there, and I have joined up my border, which I had to fudge, I will not lie, but I'm not going to go into that too much yet because I've got to put the flowers in there and hopefully it won't be too obvious. So I'm leaving this here and the insert for these flowers for the retreat because I would like to finish it at the retreat, and fill-in is quite easy, not too much counting. So I will keep steaming ahead with the rest. So what I've got left to do, where is my book? One moment. I left it behind. I left it left it in my stitchy spot. So I'm going to come in. So what I've got to do is the tree, Adam and Eve, and a few more motifs, and the writing. So I still haven't decided what I'm going to put in the writing yet. I keep putting that off because I know it's going to be tricky to do the placing and make it look like it has all designed around whatever words I'm going to put in there, because you want it to feel nicely. So today is the 13th. I've still got 2 weeks before the retreat. So it is going to be, it's going to be a bit of a push to get it finished before the retreat. I don't know if I'm going to get it done, but I do like to do when you start at a retreat too, but I really feel like it's more important to try and get this finished while Beth's there, just so I can have a photo with her with my finished piece. Regardless, I'm going to have a photo with her with it. But yeah, we'll see how we go. So I haven't got any stitchy future fun because I have placed the order with the unique stitch for 4 more kits, so I will show you that when they arrive. It does take about 3 weeks for them to come from Ukraine. I have had the international shipping notice, so I know that they're on their way from Ukraine, but I haven't had it from Aussie Post to say that they're here in Australia yet. But I'm in no hurry unless we get a U, because the U will for the Friday night floss off, not Friday night, for Fortnightly Floss Off, because the U will be my unique stitch, because that was the only one I had. And I'm struggling with X. I went through all my whips, all my kitted projects and all my patterns and could not find anything that fitted X. So if you've got any tips or tricks, and I don't want to use an X like in Fox and Rabbit, for example. I want it to be like the rest of my loose rules, that it's either in the designer name, and I've checked out X's and O's, patterns, but nothing, a lot of them are full coverage, and I'm not starting that. And then there was another one, unconventional X stitch, but again, they were really big projects, so there wasn't really anything there for me to grab onto. So if you've got a hint of one that you've got the X would fill, I'd love to hear about it, even if preferably small, because I really don't need another big one. But it's always handy to have something that can fill a prompt, because I do like the bingo and springo and bringo, you know, those ones where you've got to pick a letter. So, but I think that's it for me. These are probably going to be shorter videos because I am coming back to you every fortnight, whereas before I was doing monthly, or prior to that I was doing 6 monthly. But I was trying to do it on a monthly basis, but we'll stick with fortnightly, and hopefully you'll enjoy what I've got to share with you. I am going to put a little video in. I did do some thrifting, which I like to do. So I will show you my thrifting haul and also some horsey footage for you at the end. So until next fortnight, I'll see you then. Bye guys. Future Mel again. I forgot about something else that I wanted to talk to you or show you as well, that my son has been doing. He has a 3D printer now and is going gangbusters with printing all this fabulous stuff. And I asked him to print some bobbins for me. Previously in the past, I've ordered these type of bobbins, but they're really quite thick. because I like the double holes. So he did print me some off, and they, oh, that one you can see it's got like a star. It's really pretty. Oh, look at that. That looks really cool. And they're so much thinner that they don't take as much room. So I'm going to link his Etsy shop below for you, because he has some great prices for packs with all different colors. So 10 is $10.90 AUD, 50 is $16.50. So why would you get 10 when you can get 50? And then a 100 is $29.90, and then you've got your postage depending on, of course, where you are. So let me show you why I like to have the double holes. So you've got your normal bobbins that have the singular hole, and then you can put your ring through them. With the double hole, it means that you can hang your flosses like this while you've got a project, and then you can put them on a ring as such. Let me show you. So you can have all your bobbins on a ring like this, like a thread drop. And if you're not sure how a thread drop works, I'm just going to quickly demonstrate. So with your needle, you pull out one thread and off it comes, and you're not unwinding and winding. However, when you finish a project, rather than having all these floss drops, you simply wind them up like that, and then they can go, oops, that one's a bit loose, and then they can go in your bobbin case. And that's how I like to keep my DMC and also my silks for you. But I don't like to be unwinding and winding while they're active in a project. So I like to have them on a ring like this. So he does red ones, blue, purple, like even light just plain acrylic. That's got a bit, oh no, that's the same star one. So if you are interested in these thinner bobbins, they're quite flexible. I'm going to put his Etsy shop down below for you. So they're in Australia, but he does ship internationally as well. But it does mean you've got to pay the cost on top of what I've just quoted for you. It does not include shipping. So I thought I'd add that little in because I love these type of bobbins. They make life so much easier. And how cool is that star effect? Looks really cool under that light. All right, back to the regularly scheduled program. See you guys. Today's op shop finds. I'm going to share with you the op shop finds I find from fortnight to fortnight. First ones I got were these two cute little glass jugs. They're not worth anything, but I like to collect these on my travels because I make soy candles with them. So I melt the soy wax down and make candles, and they make a beautiful little filler on your tables, or they also are nice gifts. So 2 extra jugs. I've got this frame which I think is quite cute, which might make a nice bee finish for one of my finishes with the sort of like the honeycomb look on it. Looks as though it's pretty much brand new for a couple of dollars. I got 3 of these Irish coffee glasses. Now the reason I got these, you may ask, is that we're doing a room out in our back area. We're going to turn it into a Irish pub. After being to Ireland, we just fell in love with the pubs over there. So now I've started to collect Irish pubware. So I thought they were quite cute for the buffet I'm going to get. And the best find, let's say that, today. Now, I don't know if anyone in the United States knows what these are, but I am sure the other watchers around my age bracket in Australia will certainly know who Grug is. And Grug is a staple in primary schools back in the 80s and 90s, so I could not leave these behind. Yeah, I think actually it's an Australian author, but Grug was very, very well known in my age group, so I got picked up all of these for my grandchildren, granddaughter and grandson coming. So I'll give them a bit of a wash and put them with my library that I'm beginning to make for the kids. All right, see you soon.